Hello everyone, welcome back to Believer Science Academy, Bangalore. This is the daily news analysis. Today we'll discuss important articles from prelims, mains as well as interview perspective. So the first article for 11th September 2025 is about the way forward in Kachativo Islands and Pak state disputes. So it is talking about India and Sri Lanka relations. Interestingly, this article has been written from a Sri Lankan delegate. It is written by Nirmala Chandrahasan, who is attorney at law in Supreme Court of Sri Lanka. So we have to understand the perspective from Sri Lanka. That is why I have chosen to take up this article. First, we'll discuss the core issues here, and first we'll discuss the context. India has historically promoted peace through NAM, Panchashil, SARC, and the neighborhood first policy. Yet, despite all this, Kachativu and the fisheries dispute in the Pak states and sovereignty of Kachativu Island remain irritants in Sri Lanka and India relations. Prime Minister Modi's April 2025 visit to Colombo revived dialogue, stressing a humane approach in balancing livelihoods with conservation. So, what is the core issue here? Core issue is with respect to fisheries conflict. Okay, we have to understand. This is India, and this is the Tamil Nadu, and this is Rameshwaram, Dhanushkodi, and from here is the Sri Lanka. Okay, here is the Sri Lanka where we share a maritime border with Sri Lanka. Okay, we share a maritime border with Sri Lanka. The strait, what is strait? A water body which divides two land masses. So the strait that passes through this is called as Pak Strait. Pak Strait. Okay, so we also have the thing called as Ram Setwe, like Sri Ram Setwe, etc. That is secondary. But here on this Pak Strait, there is one island which is always of contention. This island is Kachativu. Okay, Kachativu. And why is it in dispute? Because of the fisheries conflict. That is the shared waters. That is, traditionally it was used by Tamil Nadu fisheries and Sri Lanka's northern province communities. Okay, since the maritime border is shared by both India and Pakistan, India and Sri Lanka, they were sharing both. They are sharing the waters both. Problem was Indian mechanized trawlers cross into Sri Lankan waters, causing destruction of coral and shrimp habitats, declining fish stocks, and loss of both Sri Lankan and Tamil Nadu's artisanal fisheries. Okay, what happens here is the fishermen from both countries are using this water, but the issue is the Indian fishermen are using the trawlers, and they are highly mechanized and they are very rich compared to the Sri Lankan fisheries. So what happens with the result? The Indian mechanized trawlers are able to extract more fishes, are able to extract more shrimp and more coral habitats, which is also declining or resulting in destruction of habitats for other important biodiversity like corals and shrimps. Okay, so if the more fish is being taken away by the Indian fishermen, obviously there will be less available for the Sri Lankans. So that is why this has always been the point of contention between India and Sri Lanka. Then, legal and ecological framework. According to United Nations Convention on Law of Sea, that is UN clause, there should be equitable and sustainable use of maritime border. FAO, Food and Agriculture Organization, ban on destructive methods like bottom trawling. So they have already put a ban on destructive methods like bottom trawling. What happens in bottom trawling is, if this is the surface of the like ocean, and if this is the bottom of the ocean, if this is the surface of the ocean like boat will be here, and attached to the boat will be the trawlers. What happens in trawlers is it is made to fall or subsidize into the bottom of the ocean. When it is at bottom of the ocean and like ship starts moving or the boat starts moving away, when it starts moving away, it starts dragging everything from the bottom itself. So it is not only dragging the fishes, it is also dragging the coral reefs, it is also dragging the shrimps, it is also dragging all the bottom feeders that are available in this area. So not only the fishes, but also it is destroying or destructing the ecology. And Sri Lanka banned trawling in 2017, but it is illegal incursions still continue from the Indian side. Next, intra-Tamil conflict. Adding to that, we have an intra-Tamil conflict. That is trawler operators. The trawler operators are those with the profit driven and destructive, And artisanal fishermen are those who use traditional boats, who use traditional methods of fishing. Sustainable, subsistence dependent, livelihood clash with Tamil communities. This all the time happens in India and Sri Lanka waters. And add to that one more thing, that is Kachativu issue. What is Kachativu? Kachativu issue is that it is an island. Many believe there is one issue, that is it was gifted by India. But Sri Lankans believe that it is not gifted by India. It has always been the part of India. So what is the myth and reality? It is always portrayed as a gift by Indira Gandhi, which the Sri Lankans had considered to be false. 1974 Maritime Border Treaty placed it under Sri Lanka based on the historic administrative control. So they say that it is not a gift, instead it is by a mechanism, that is administrative control. The legal status is treaty binding under international law, meaning pacta sunt servanda, because according to UN clause there are certain rules: territorial waters, contiguous water, exclusive economic zone, and oceans beyond water, okay, or ocean beyond national jurisdiction. So here, according to territorial waters, according to the UN clause, they believe that the Kachativu goes to Sri Lanka, cannot be revoked without destabilizing the order. Kachativu sovereignty was settled unrelated to fishing rights. But recently there was another remark from the blockbuster hero, that is Vijay or Talapati Vijay. He said that Kachativu belongs to Tamil and it should be taken back to Tamil Nadu. So which sparked some debate from Sri Lanka side as well. Then historical precedent is ICJ Minquers and Ekrehos case. What happened in this case is administrative control greater than the historical claim. And Run of Kutch arbitration, here also in that it was decided that Kachativu is for Sri Lanka. So what should be the possible solutions? First is differentiate the stakeholders. That is, we have to understand the stakeholders here. One is the artisanal stakeholders who are poor, whose livelihood is completely dependent on the fisheries. So they should be protected. That is, protect artisan fishers and not the trawl operators. Allow regulated seasonal access for Tamil Nadu's small fishers with Sri Lanka's consent. Next is community sensitization. Tamil Nadu media and leaders to highlight hardships faced by Sri Lankan Tamils during the civil wars, and emphasize bonds of fraternity, that is Tamil refugees in Tamil Nadu during the conflict. So we should invoke a form of community sensitization. We should invoke the form of bond of fraternity, that both are Tamils only. We are from Indian Tamils, they are from Sri Lankan Tamils. We should stay together. We should have a fraternity. Then joint management models. According to UN clause Article 123, cooperation is needed in semi-enclosed seas. Examples: Baltic Sea Fisheries Convention, where all the Baltic countries involve in fishing in the Baltic Sea based on the convention. And the possible steps here can be shared quotas and seasonal fishing days, joint marine research station at Kachativu, investment in India's deep sea fishing, that is reducing the pressure on near shore waters. Next, there is a need for multi-level engagement, that is government to government, that is treaty obligations and based on the trust, and the state and provincial, that is Tamil Nadu and Northern Provincial Council cooperation between Sri Lanka and India, and community dialogue between fisher unions on both the sides. And way forward should be fisheries issue, that is needs ecological balance, livelihood protection, and empathy for artisanal fishers. Next, Kachativu issue should be legally settled, should not cloud real concerns of fisheries. And finally, the bigger picture is prioritize South Asia peace, prosperity, and interdependence over the narrow disputes. This is very paramount considering what is happening to South Asia, be it in Nepal, be it in Bangladesh, be it in Maldives, be it in Pakistan, or be it in China. So India desperately needs allies. So we should not make enemy out of our one of the main chief ally, that is Sri Lanka. Okay. Next, a joint and new journey along the SEO pathway. This article is written by Zhu Fiong, who is an ambassador of China to India. He talks about importance of Shanghai Cooperation Organization in the future. Prime Minister Modi attended SEO summit in Tianjin, China 2025. We have already discussed on SEO detailedly, and we already discussed the outcomes of SEO 2025 as well. You can go back and check in SEO highlights in our YouTube channel. You will get all the highlights about SEO. Then 23 countries plus 10 international organizations participated, making it the largest SEO summit in the recent history. Marks 75 years of Indo-China diplomatic ties, and the key outcomes of Tianjin summit was security cooperation. It established 4 security centers including SEO Universal Center for Countering Security Challenges and Threats, SEO Anti-Drug Center, and announcement of SEO Development Bank, and also they started a development agenda, that is adoption of SEO development strategy from 2025 to 2035. And here China made bold claims. China made announced 3 cooperation platforms, that is energy, green industry and digital economy, and 3 cooperation centers, science and tech, higher education and vocational training, and also focused on global governance role. Xi Jinping, the Prime President of China, he, he gave a global governance initiative, that is GGI, which according to him will drive the world forward. That is sovereign equality, international rule of law, based on multilateralism, people-centered development, and then real action versus rhetoric. Then India-China bilateral takeaways from the SEO, that is Xi and Modi agreed to strengthen ties as partners and not rivals. And symbolism is, this was the highlight, that is dragon and elephant must dance together, keeping aside all the other issues and focusing on cooperation. Modi said that India will view ties from a long-term perspective, and both agreed that the immediate issues, that is the border issues or the border issues, that should be kept away. They should be isolated, but we should focus on other aspects, economy, trade, military, strategic, etc. should be given focus on. Next, pathways for India-China relations, strategic mutual trust, learned from the past 75 years, resume dialogue exchange mechanisms, mutual respect, peaceful coexistence and common development, expand exchanges and cooperation, that is focus on development as the common denominator, cooperation in trade, investment, technology, education, culture, tourism and poverty alleviation, and promote think tank, media, youth and political party exchanges. Next, good neighborliness, that is both should uphold Panchashil doctrines. Okay, this is very good coming from the China, because they were the ones who started breaking these Panchashil agreements. They broke mutual agreement, they broke mutual trust, they broke mutual territorial integrity. So, but again, the time calls for desperate measures. So now India has to move towards China, considering the issue with Trump, considering the issue with Bangladesh, etc. Next, respect each other's core interest. Do not let boundary question define relations, as I told you, and prevent disputes from overshadowing the cooperation. If you want to know more about what is this boundary questions or boundary disputes between India and China, I have made a detailed video about Indo-China border, right from the independence to recent Galwan Valley disputes. You will have a complete idea about what happened between India and China, why there is always a war between India and China over borders. You will understand it completely. Next, the road ahead. As two largest developing countries and global south leaders, India and China share common goals of development and modernization, world peace and stability, and reforming global governance. Next, both to hold BRICS presidency in 2027 respectively. China pledges to support India's role in BRICS and SEO. Shared vision is oppose bullying, hegemony, uphold fairness and justice, build a community with shared future for humanity. So, a very good article which talks about SEO as a future for India and China, also future for the world. To build roads is to build peace. It is written by Pawan Mamidi, who is the director of CSBC in Ashoka University. He is talking about the road. To build roads is to peace. He is talking about the importance of transportation and communication, or communication in the tribal areas. The core argument is India's most affected tribal regions Roads are more than infrastructure. They are symbol of safe or state presence and pathways to peace. Roads enable governance, weaken insurgent control, and expand democratic legitimacy. Next, why roads matter in conflict zones? They matter because it allows for the state visibility. Roads often mark that the first arrival of governance in neglected tribal hinterlands. Okay, whenever you see roads in areas, it feels that the government do care, the state do care enough to build roads here. Next, enable electricity, jobs, schools, clinics, and police access, and weakening parallel governance. Insurgents fill the governance gaps with courts, taxation, welfare, and health services, such as Naxalite Jannadalats. These systems create legitimacy through coercion but lack constitutional safeguards, which undermine state authority as well. Next, roads reclaim this space for formal accountable institutions, helping in reclaiming the state's authority and state's authenticity here. Next, research evidence. Okay, it is not just based on any false evidences. There have been evidences about importance of road, importance of building roads. That is, rural roads correlate with lower crime and more services. Jain and Biswas 2023 was the study done by them. And globally, poorly connected areas show higher violence. Example, Prieto Kuriel and Menjes in 2020. This was the study done by them. And Chhattisgarh strategy, that is BVR Subramaniam, says that roads first, then schools, clinics, and police automatically follow. Next, risks and safeguards. That is, roads can symbolize inclusion or repression depending on the use. Without justice, healthcare, and community consultation, infrastructure risks alienating the locals. The informal norms, that is Kap Panchayat, caste councils, or Naxal Adalats, can also perpetuate the exclusion. So, the development must embed pluralistic, rights-based, and constitutional values. So, that is why the roads are very important. So, what should be the way forward? Road should be built with the village and not just through it. Participated development, that is, the road should be built by the rural villages itself. They should be given employment opportunities. So it should be built with village and not through the villages. And combine infrastructure with institutional safeguards, that is, justice mechanisms, welfare services, community engagement. Goal is to transform road building from movement, belonging, control to legitimacy, and infrastructure will lead to finally to peace. Okay, a very important, small but very important articles. Students, especially from anthropology background, you can note or make note of these case studies. Make note of these case studies. Importance of road or importance of development in rural or tribal areas. Okay, this Jain and Biswa study, Prieto Kuriel and Menjes study, and BVR Subramaniam study of Chhattisgarh. Next, a very important article from the international relation perspective, which talks about Democratic Republic of Congo. Recently, more than 60 people died in Democratic Republic of Congo because of skirmishes between insurgent group and the police. We'll discuss what is happening. Why is peace elusive in Democratic Republic of Congo? Background of the conflict. First, you'll understand the background. The legacy of 1994 Rwandan genocide and Congo wars. This displaced militias and ethnic rivalries and regional spillovers. So there was a fight between Congo and Rwanda. So many Rwandans were present in Congo, and the Congo government or the Congo officials or the Congo government maybe, okay, they started fighting against the Rwandans, which ultimately led to the Rwandan genocide. Since then, there have been displaced militias from the Rwandan side and displaced militia from the Congo states as well, which has also resulted in rivalries and regional spillovers. So there is presence of over 100 armed groups in eastern DRC, mainly in north and south Kivu provinces. M23 rebellion, predominantly a Tutsi group. Tutsi is a tribal community, accused of receiving Rwandan support, and competition over rich mineral resources, that is cobalt, coltan, gold, tin, and diamonds in the Democratic Republic of Congo region, and weak state institutions, porous borders, and mistrust between Rwanda and DRC exacerbate the instability as well. Okay, so because of this, because of the Rwandan genocide and Congo wars, there are so many militia and some militia like M23 rebellion do receive support from the Rwandan side as well. And there is fight for control of the resource rich areas as well. Next, whenever there is a conflict in a particular country, there is always the entry or the involvement of USA. Same case with here as well. USA entry and the interest. First is the strategic economic interest. That is, Democratic Republic of Congo holds $24 trillion mineral resources. $24 trillion mineral resources, which is almost 5 times the GDP of India. 70% of the global poverty goals, critical for EV batteries and green technology. US seeks to counter China's dominance in DRC's mining sector here. And security and geopolitical interest, promoting licit mineral trade, that is, weakening the illicit funding of militias, expanding US influence in Africa amid the great power competition. Next, the peace attempts in the previous years. US brokered Washington Agreement in June 2025. DRC and Rwanda pledged cessation of hostilities and end to support for armed groups. Next, creation of joint security coordination mechanism and economic integration framework, and promised disarmament and conditional integration of rebels. And then Doha ceasefire in July 2025. Direct deal between DRC government and M23 rebel groups. M23 agreed to withdraw from seized regions and DRC to release all the M23 prisoners. And also the declaration of principles for comprehensive peace by August 18. Despite all these things, in September 9th, on September 9th, there were more than 60 to 100 casualties between the fight in M23 and the government of government of DRC. So then why did this ceasefire fail? Ceasefire failed because of non-compliance on both the sides. That is, M23 did not withdraw and DRC did not release the prisoners. And renewed violence. That is, M23, instead of withdrawing, they went on the offense. They went on the front foot. That is, M23 offensive in the north and south Kivu resulted in 140 plus killed in July, which was according to the Human Rights Watch. And underlying causes are still unresolved. The underlying causes were like who holds north and south Kivu, who holds the mineral areas, who holds about Rwandan genocide, who holds the responsibility. The ethnic grievances, Rwanda's alleged support to M23, competition over the resources are still there, and distrust between the state and rebel groups and the history of broken ceasefires add fuel to the fire. Next, why peace seems elusive? One is mainly structural problems, that is DRC's weak governance, corruption and fragile institutions, and parallel economies based on the illicit minerals and armed group taxation, and regional rivalries, that is Rwanda accused of backing M23, Uganda and Burundi have competing stakes, and ethnic tensions, that long-standing hostility between Hutu, Tutsi and other communities, and external interests like USA, EU and China competing for all the mineral access, and regional powers pursue security and economic influence, and failure of implementation, that is peace deals signed under pressure but not followed on the ground. So because of various reasons, despite all the efforts, the peace remains so elusive there. So what should be the way forward then? Way forward needs a comprehensive peace process with all the stakeholders where you address ethnic grievances and regional rivalries. Inclusive government reforms or governance reforms in DRC where you strengthen state legitimacy, and need for international monitoring and guarantees to ensure compliance. Next, balance great power competition, avoid minerals becoming the new conflict trigger. Next, sustain dialogue plus economic cooperation, focusing on licit mineral trade development policies, which will be key to the lasting peace. So these are very important articles from the mains perspective. Next, the prelims pointers. There is an article about stable coins and the US dollar dominance. So let us discuss about stable coins. What are the stable coins? They are crypto tokens pegged to a fiat currency. Most of the times they are pegged to US dollars. Okay, so it is nothing but a cryptocurrency or crypto token which has a backing from US dollar. That is simple words. That is, they are fully backed by liquid assets like cash and US Treasury bills. US Treasury bills since the Genius Act of USA. It enables instant settlement, cross-border transactions, and avoids exchange controls or sanctions. The current status of stablecoins is the market cap is around 280 billion, which doubled in just last 18 months and projected to reach $2 trillion within 3 years, and still just 1% of the global transactions, tiny compared to 100 trillion bond market, tiny compared to 100 trillion to bond market, and dominated by Tether and Circle, who hold 80% of the share and 99% dollar backed, even though most traders happen to be outside the US borders. Okay, these are stable coins. Why are stable coins important for USA? It provides an exorbitant privilege because the stable coins are backed by US dollar. The US enjoys global dominance as issuer of world's reserve currency, and stable coins may reinforce dollar supremacy and not weaken it. Boost demand for US treasuries and backing assets, and US Treasury sees it as a way to finance growing debt burden. Finance growing debt burden. It counters China's yuan-backed stablecoin efforts and other rivals. So it is very important for USA. This is stablecoins. Next is Swachha Vayu Survekshan of 2025. Recently, the report was released by the Government of India. This was conducted by the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. It was for part of National Clean Air Program, that is NCAP. Coverage around 130 cities under NCAP. Objective is to promote healthy competition among the cities, encourage expeditious action on air quality and improvement, and the assessment parameters. There are 8 key parameters. That is road dust mitigation, solid waste management, vehicular emission control, industrial emission control, construction and demolition waste handling, public awareness, institutional mechanisms, and measurable improvements in PM10 and PM2.5 levels. So based on these 8 parameters, the cities are ranked. So 2025 rankings, it is again divided into different populations, different cities and different populations. In million plus population cities, Indore was topped despite the slight PM10 increase, and then comes Jabalpur, Agra and Surat joined third, and others are Navi Mumbai, Kanpur, Bhopal, Chandigarh, Delhi, Bengaluru, Kolkata and Chennai. Okay. Next, in 3 to 10 lakh population, Amaravati tops the list, and then Jhansi and Moradabad and Alwar. In less than 3 population cities, Devas in Madhya Pradesh and Parwanu in Himachal Pradesh and Anguli in Odisha. Next, the key highlights are there has been a PM10 decline in most of the cities. That is, out of 130 cities, 103 cities saw the decline of PM10. Mumbai saw the highest decline, that is around 44% from 2017-18 to 24-25. Then Kolkata by 37%, Hyderabad and Bengaluru by 26% each, Delhi by 15% and Chennai by 12%. So there is a improvement in PM10 decline. Cities meeting the NAQS, that is National Ambient Air Quality Standards, that is PM10 less than 60 microgram per meter cube, are 22 cities. Among the metros, Chennai was the only city which met the standards of PM10 being less than 60 microgram per meter cube, that is around 58.58 meter cube. Okay, so very important article, like very important from the film perspective. So you can just note on important points. Next is about bill tribe. So why are the news? They are in news because Ministry of Tribal Affairs to make translated folk tales of bill tribe available to its Adivani website and app. I have already discussed about this Adivani app. Adivani app or Adivani app is an app which allows you to translate tribal languages or tribal slangs into major languages such as English and Hindi. At the moment, they can be converted into English and Hindi, and the moving forward, the aim is to convert all these tribal languages into 22 official languages. So this is Adivani app. So recently they have added bill tribes into this one. The key facts of bill tribe is it is the oldest tribe in India, identified as one of the Dravidian racial tribes of Western India. Anthropological group is they belong to Australoid group. Okay, Australoid group. Etymology: the word bill is derived from villu or billu, that is bow, from Dravidian languages. Distribution is there are 2 main groups. One is central groups, central bills and eastern bills. Central bills are mainly found in Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Gujarat and Rajasthan, and eastern bills are mainly found in Rajasthan and MP. They are also present in Tripura. The small part of bills are present in Tripura in Northeast India, and widely regarded as the largest tribal group in India, spread across multiple states. And their language is they talk a language called as Billy, which is an Indo-Aryan language, Indo-Aryan dialect, blend of Gujarati and Marathi. And the occupation, they mainly practice agriculture, both plough cultivation and zoom cultivation or shifting cultivation. Hunting gathering is also followed in some sort of areas, and the beliefs and practices is that the religion is ethnic faiths which are blended with Hinduism. Deities are Khandoba, Kanobha, Biroba, Sitlama, or Vagadev, which is a tiger god. Festivals are there is Baneshwar fair, which is on the Shivaratri, dedicated to Baneshwar Mahadeva, which is a form of Shiva, and major cultural and spiritual gatherings of Bills as well. So these are the articles for today. I think I covered them in a holistic way. If you like the video, then please hit the like button, comment on it, and also share with your friends. And if you are new to the channel, please subscribe to the channel and click on the bell icon so that you don't miss a notification. With this, I will end the video. Jai Hind.